Minglava. In this video, we are going to learn how to use the popular Python library sklearn to develop the regression models that we have learned in the previous videos. Sklearn is one of the most commonly used and popular libraries among the data science developers because sklearn provides many packages to develop the machine learning models, right? So in this video, we are going to use some of the common packages, common classes from the like sklearn pre-processing package, linear model package, and model selection package, right? So we will start with pre-processing step. In the pre-processing step, we have previously talked about how to standardize the data, right? Which is essential for linear model, linear regression models. Right? So sklearn pre-processing package provide us several functions to compile raw data into a representation that is more suitable for the models. Now let's see how we can use the standard scalar to standardize our data. We first import the class from the sklearn pre-processing package and declare a variable standard scalar, right? And we call this variable as scalars. Next, we use fit transform to transform the data to a scale space, right? So the x scale, the outcome x scales, the result x scale will have the mean values of 1 and variance units of mean value of 0 and variance of unit 1, right? So if we want to do the minimum maximum scaling, we can call a method minimum max scalar. Right? Same process we can apply. Firstly, we import min max scalars from the sklearn pre-processing, and we declare a variable, and we can use a fit transform method to transform the data. Okay? If you don't give any range, the input default value will be 0 to 1. So after pre-processing, we can continue to do the modeling. Right? So for modeling of the linear models, we will use the sklearn.linear model package. Right? So we first import linear regression from sklearn.linear model, and then we declare a variable linear regression and call that variable as LR. Right? Then we fit the data using the trainee data, target data, as well as the feature data, and we use a fit method to train the models. So LR.fit find the best parameters that best fit to the training data. In our regression models, linear regression models, the parameters will be coefficient and intercept. We can take these attributes by calling lr.coef underscore and lr.intercept underscore. Next, we can call lr.predict and feed the testing data to predict the y values. Okay? So it's very easy to do the modeling using the sklearn.linear models. Likewise, we can do the regularized regression by importing the class rich and lasso respectively. Right? Both of them are also inside the sklearn.linear model. So when we use a rich and lasso, we need to define the alpha values, right? For the regularized step. By therefore, alpha values will be 1. Okay, alpha values will be 1. If we set alpha values to be 0, it will be the same with linear regression. Okay. So the steps are stay the same. We first import the rich class, then we call a variable rich. All right, we define a variable RR by declaring a new rich class. Right, so we have to give the values of alpha. Okay, then we will use a fit to train the model using the training data, and then the y value can be predicted using the predict method by feeding the testing data. Okay, so alpha values we have to define. All right, if the alpha value is large, then the effect of regularized then will be larger. Right, so these alpha values are known as hyperparameters. We can use the cross validation method, which we are going to cover later. Cross validation method to fine-tune these hyperparameters. The same process for the lasso. The only difference is importing the different methods. Okay. Linear regression can be actually extended to perform the polynomial regression using the sklarn preprocessing package. We first import the polynomial features from sklarn preprocessing package to transform the feature from the to the linear space. All right. So here we can call polynomial features. We can call the polynomial features with the degree values. Here we need to define the parameter degree. Okay. Degree can be defined as 2, 3, or 4. Right. If it's a degree is 1, it will be the same with the linear model. So first of all, we define the polynomial features and use these polynomial features, a poly variable, and use a method fit transform to transform the data to the linear space. After that, we can use the same method like linear regression by calling the fit and predict. All right, fit to train the data and predict to do the testing. Here, please take note that because our data are in the nonlinear space, we need to first transform this nonlinear data into a linear space by using the poly.fit transforms for both training and testing data. So now we have already modeled the data. We start with the preprocessing and then we model the data. And we now know how to predict the result. Okay. So this is time for us to do the evaluation of the models. How do we do the model evaluation? Okay. Model evaluation can be performed qualitatively using the data visualization and quantitatively using the performance metrics. In these videos, we focus on quantitative metrics. For the regression models, two common quantitative metrics are R-score and mean square error. R-score is computed using LR.score and pass the testing data, both features and target values. Right. The best R-score will be 1 and 0 indicate the average value or target will be retained regardless of the input value. Mean square error is computed by importing the mean square error class from the sklarn matrix. Then we feed the testing values of y, the original values of y and predicted values of y, and compute the MSE. Large MSE values indicate that the prediction accuracy is low. So this is how to do the model evaluation for the regression models. In the previous video, we used a modeling. We mentioned that we use a training data to do the modeling. But let's say the data set given, we use the whole data set for the training, and then the parameters are estimated from the whole training data set. The result will be the model will provide the best score, right? But if the model has to estimate for the unseen data, the performance will be rather low, or we cannot assume that our performance will be good. So what we need to do is we need to first split the data into training and testing data set. Okay. If we use the whole data set for the training, all right, so the score will be rather good for the training, but it will not be a good for the unseen data. This problem is called overfitting. Okay. So to avoid this, we first split the data into training and testing. How do we do it? Very simple. We can import the train test split from sklarn model selection, and then we can split the data. So test size coming with the ratio, right, which is 0 to 1. Test size define the size of the testing data set. Here, if I use a test size of 0.3, that means 30% of training data, 30% of the whole data set will be using as a testing data, 70% as a training data. So this is to split the data into training and testing. But what we can do further, let's see. All right. So one more robust method will be using the cross validation. Okay. So this figure is taken from sklearn manuals website, all right, for the sklearn website. As we can see in the data figure, right, the data set should be first split into training and testing, like what I discussed earlier. Then this training data can be used for the cross-validation. And we compute the different parameters. And we, from this cross-validation, we extract the best parameter, and these best parameters are used to retrain the model. Okay? Then we use that testing data to do the final evaluation. If we use this approach, this is called cross-validation. If we use a cross-validation method, the performance will be more accurate to handle the unseen data. Now let's continue to study cross-validation. What do we mean by cross-validation? Cross-validation split the available data into a k equal groups, right? If we split into k equal groups, it's called k4, right? Each group is referred as a 4. So if we split into k group, then that is called k4. If it's we split into 5, then that is called 5, 4. Right. Then from this K4, we will use a K minus 1 fold to do the training, and then 1 as a testing. Okay, 1 as a testing. Then for each fold, right? So we do the training, and then we compute the measurements. For example, in the regression, we compute the R-score value. Right? And then we repeat the process, and then all the folds are being used at training and being used at training. Right? All the folds are being used at training. So this is called cross-validation. If we see the figure from the sklearn library, it is much clearer. So let's refer to the sklearn library. Here you can see that the trainer are split into training data and testing data. All right. So the data is being split into 5 4, okay, equal group. Then in the first time, 4 1 is used as a testing data, and the remaining 4 4s are used as training data. Then from this 4 4, okay, we compute the R-score value and find their parameters. We use these parameters and then compute the R-score value. All right. Likewise, for the split 2, we hold the 4 2 as a testing data, the remaining as a training data, and we perform the same things. Okay, compute the R-score as well as defining the parameters. Likewise, we do it for split 3, split 4, and split 5. Then the average of R-score values give us the performance of our models. And then we can use these parameters, best parameters, and use to best parameter to evaluate the models, right? So from this, we can we have more confidence that our model will perform like for the unseen data as well, right? Will perform well for the unseen data as well. Okay, so how do we do this cross validation in sklearn? Let's go and see it. All right. First of all, we import the cross validation score from the sklearn.model selection, and then next we import K4 same from the sklearn.model selection package and linear regression as usual. Okay, K4 is to split the data into different folds. All right, and split define the number of folds that you want to split. Here I put 5. That means our data will be split into 5 equal group. Okay, shuffle equal to true. Shuffle equal to true indicates that we will always shuffle our data before splitting. Right? And then random state temp is also defined because every time we run the program, we want to have the same starting point so that we get the same result, same splitting. Then we declare a linear regression, and this linear regression model is passed to cross validation score, right? And training data and K4 are passed to this cross validation score, and the CV score will be computed in the regression model. Of course, R score, right? R score will be computed for each fold. Here, because we split the data into 5 4, right? We will have the 5 CV score value, R score value. Okay, then this CV score will hold an array or R score value, 5 R score value, and we can measure by by computing the statistical value, for example, average. Right? Then we see that in average, this is how our method will be performed. Okay. Then we use this cross validation score cross-validation method. We use this cross-validation method to find the parameters using the gray set CP and randomized search CP, which are not going to cover in these videos. Right now, okay, it is time for us to do the pipeline. Okay, now it is time for us to streamline the process and build a pipeline. To build a pipeline in sklearn is rather easy. We first import the simple input data because we want to do the cleaning on the missing data as well, right? So we first import the simple input data to input the missing data, and then standard scalar to scale the data into a distribution of mean zeros and variance of one. All right. Then we will import the polynomial features and linear regression. Last, we will import the pipeline from sklearn.pipeline package. Okay. After importing all this library, we will define a step. All right. So step for the pipeline is created by calling a first simple imputer, standard scalar, polynomial features, and linear regression. Then we use a pipeline. Okay, pipeline object. Right. We create a pipeline object by passing this step that we have declared earlier. Right. So this will create a pipeline object for your polynomial regression, including with the fourth step: imputing the missing data, standardizing the features, and transforming the data into a linear space and performing the linear regression. Next, as usual, we can use a fit to train the data using the X tree and Y tree. Right. Then our score value can be computed by passing the testing data into the score method. Okay. Then predict can be used to predict the values of y by passing the X-test testing data, testing feature variables. Right. Last, we can use a mean square error to compute the distance between the predicted value and testing values. Then we get the MSE. Congratulations, you have now successfully built a regression models, linear regression models, rich regression models, and even the polynomial regression models using a pipeline. Okay, it is time for you to do some projects. Go to the GitHub repo given in the comment and explore different projects to do the polynomial regression, linear regression, and estimate some of the information, some of the numerical values that you want to predict. All right. Next videos, we are going to talk about the classification. I hope to see you all. Thank you. Bye.